So Joel met me at the studio one night after my teaching day, and he just looked at me and said, "Well, I'm ready to go. Where are your plans?" And I looked at him and I said, "I have no plans. I don't know where my direction's going to come from, but I believe it's going to come from the Holy Spirit." He said, "Okay, so what do you want to do?" I said, "I want to go outside and kneel on the grass and pray for God to send His Holy Spirit to guide us, because I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going." And he said, "Fine, go ahead." So I went outside and I fell on my knees on the grass and I prayed the hardest prayer I've ever prayed in my entire life. And I said, "Dear God, send your Holy Spirit to me. I don't know what I'm doing, and I want to do what you want me to do and what the sister wants me to do. So please send the Holy Spirit. I need Him now. I have no plans." And at that second, I felt a hurricane all around me. The hurricane was so violent, it scared me to death, but yet it was coupled with the softness and the sweetness of the baby lamb. That's what this Holy Spirit is. He is a combination of great, unbelievable power and the sweetness of a baby lamb. So I stood up and I felt victorious. And I went into the studio and I said, "Joel, I'm ready to go." He lit his torch. He said, "Okay, give me your first direction." And I did not know what I was going to tell him until the second I said it. And it came to me in my mind. Every direction I gave him was a perfect direction for him to start creating the Christ. And it went like that for a long, long time. We did not finish the Christ for days, but for weeks I stood in my studio staring at the Christ and unbelieving that this really happened to me. I couldn't believe it. And Joel said, "Gary, I don't believe in God, and I feel the presence of God." And he said, "I am now a believer. I feel it." And I said, "Look at the Christ. Is He enormous in spirituality?" He said, "I've never seen anything like it." He kneeled down in my studio, and he did not believe in God before. And this happened, and I kneeled down, and we both cried. We both cried. And it's sad to think of how he was tortured, but he did it for us. And I want you to know that this statue of Jesus Christ eventually made it to Disney Studios, to the gentleman who was asked by Walt Disney to create the schematic design for Disneyland. He invited me for lunch. He wanted to see the Christ photographs, and I showed it to him, and he dropped his fork. He said, "I've never seen anything like this." He said, "Gary, this is your Star Wars." I said, "Mr. Herbert Ryman, it's much more than my Star Wars. It's Jesus from the Holy Spirit." And he said, "I believe it. I believe it." So you see, miracles happen, and they can happen to anyone. But this was the hardest prayer I've ever prayed, and I just want you to know that the hospital did not want to do this project right away. So I said, God has something else in plan. So I resigned from teaching shortly after, and I packed up the Christ and took it to Los Angeles, and I was introduced to Danny Thomas and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and they invited me to display the Christ and tell the story to 1,200 friends of St. Jude at the Beverly Hilton